Hello, everybody, and welcome into another Flyers News and Rumors here at the Hockey Writers. I'm your host, Matthew Zator, and as always, joined in by Justin Giampietro. Justin, how's it going?
It's going good. Um, Flyers had a short week, but they did win both games. The first one in comeback fashion, the second one in very high scoring fashion for
Yeah.
some reason. It was pretty random. It was just a 3-goal outburst. I think it was the fastest in franchise history, the quickest 3 goals they've ever scored consecutively. So it was a weird week. It was a short week, but they got 2 wins.
It's better than what we've talked about in the past, right? So it's some dramatic positivity, I guess. One guy though that's been doing really well, and we've talked about him multiple times in different videos too, is Trevor Zegras. He's been keying a lot of the offense lately. 21 points in the first 20 games this season. Is first with the Flyers. It's actually a historic mark. So I've been impressed by how he's kind of integrated into the team pretty quickly.
So Zegras is 21 points. This was shown on the in-game graphic, I think like later in the game, that through a player's first 20 games with the Flyers, only two other players have had 21 or more points. Briere back in 2008 and Peter Forsberg back in 2006. Of course, he didn't play with the Flyers, even though he was drafted by them
Yeah.
because he was traded for Lindros. But when he got back, even though he was kind of, I wouldn't say old, but he was older,
Mm-hmm.
definitely. And he was fantastic. He had 36 points in his first 20 games. Briere had 24 in his first 20, and Zegras has 21. That's less impressive than Forsberg, but that is a historic mark for the Flyers. He has meshed in perfectly. He is having the best season of his career. Not only has he returned to his rookie sophomore year form, he has exceeded it, I would say, substantially. In terms of impact, I think it's similar. I looked back at those seasons, and he was phenomenal. I thought that his point totals kind of understated how good of a player he was. To me, he's returning to that form, and that is a really good thing for the Flyers. He's a top six player for sure. He is arguably a first line player on even a playoff team.
Mm-hmm.
So to get that for what they gave up, which was a second, a fourth, and Ryan Poehling, that's pretty good. They did pretty good on that trade.
Yeah, 100%. Of course, his contract's coming up, and see what type of money he's going to demand if he keeps on this pace, because that's point a game. A little over a point a game. That's some pretty good production, and the money is probably going to be pretty good on him. Discuss that as the season goes on of how much he's going to demand, right? So, yeah, it's going to be interesting. All right, moving to prospects, and the rest of this is really focused on prospects. Jett Luchanko, who we've also mentioned on earlier videos, had a pretty breakout game, 5 primary assists against Owen Sound. It's a pretty good breakout there. What do you think about his? Of course, we've talked to him before. He just keeps going.
The game itself, what was funny is that I thought his best plays were none of his assists. That's just kind of how it is a lot of the time when I'm looking at prospects and I'm like, oh, this guy had a big game. It's like actually their best play, they didn't even get a point on it. He was all over the place, and as he has been the entire season. He is the most efficient assist getter in the OHL right now.
Mhm.
15 assists in 10 games. That barely beats out first round pick from last year's draft, Jake O'Brien, a guy that was kind of on my radar for the Flyers. They were kind of in that range. He went number 8. So to get, that type of player, obviously Luchanko's in his draft plus 2 seasons, so he was drafted 2 seasons ago. You expect kind of a leap, but at the same time, he is playing really good hockey right now, and he is basically a lock for Canada's World Junior team, and we'll see what he does there. That'll be
Mhm.
another challenge for him, but the OHL, he's been playing really well, and he's been dominating for pretty decent Guelph Storm team so far this year. They dropped that game 10-7. It was a pretty wild one. But he's producing, and the talent around him, I think, is better than it was in years past.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, it's going to be big to see how much of a role he'll have on Team Canada because, of course, coming off a disappointing effort last World Juniors, I mean, it'd be good to have them it kind of bounce back and have him maybe being one of the key players on that team. So, yeah, that's going to be something to watch in the next month because World Juniors is a little over a month away. So we'll see him there, I'm sure. All right, moving to the AHL, the Phantoms ending a pretty grueling part of their schedule. And also two guys we've talked about in past videos, Denver Barkey, Alex Bump, both still performing and still shining. I know you wrote an article about their chemistry as well. So, I mean, these two guys may actually be contributing for the Flyers in the future too.
Yeah, we'll see when that is. I wouldn't assume it's this season because, again, they're playing really well for a good Phantoms team. But to get to the Phantoms as a hockey team, they played 3 games in a row, and they've played 6 games in a 9-day stretch. So that's pretty hard, especially for a pretty young Phantoms team. Guys like Barkey and Bump, they are your top contributors and they're rookies. So that's got to be taxing on them. Not really used to 3 games in a row and 6 games in 9 days. So it's good that the Phantoms are out of that, and they kind of came out of it on top. They did get a win in their last game over the Wolfpack, and Barkey and Bump contributed in that game. They combined for the game-winning goal. They're still performing even with just a lot of load on them in such a short span. And the Phantoms are a top 5 team in the AHL right now by points percentage. So they're going strong, and it's really, really good for these young guys to play competitive hockey. It's not the playoffs yet, but again, these tough teams that they're playing. I mean, they played Hershey back-to-back. They played a very, very good Providence Bruins team. They're getting these competitive games, and they're really thriving in them, especially a little bit earlier during that stretch. I think they kind of faded a bit, and then they kind of bounced back against the Wolfpack. But again, they're just getting these competitive games in for a good team, and the vibes are good in Lehigh Valley right now.
I say it's good. I mean, it's a good sign for the Flyers and as an organization to have some of these guys down there doing well and could potentially be the next wave coming up soon. So we'll see when that'll be. But yeah, Barkey and Bump definitely really playing well down there too. All right, we'll finish off with Porter Martone. We haven't talked about him in, I think, a couple videos, but he's still doing really well in the NCAA. He's starting to kind of steal the show down there a bit. What do you think about his recent performance?
I will admit that I don't think I've watched more than 1 game of his start to finish, but I have seen a lot of highlights, and it's even better than I think he was last season in the OHL, which was a dominant player, a guy I had ranked number 1 in the class at one point. At the lowest, he was number 3 for me. So this is a guy who I was very high on, and I'm even higher on him now. He has increased that physicality. It's a tougher league, NCAA, obviously older players. You kind of want to, impose your will a little bit more. And he is demanding respect of his opponents. He has 18 points in 12 games. He is one of the most efficient point scorers in the NCAA right now. And he is by far, production-wise, the best producer on his team, on a very good MSU team. They have dropped some games recently, but he is still their best player on a very good title contending team. And that's what you want to see out of your freshman prospect. He is really playing well. And every single game, it feels like he's having a huge impact. And I think he's ready for that next step to the NHL. Honestly, probably could have made it this year and worked his way up to a top 6 role. But they're giving him that kind of, experience against older guys, and that's definitely not going to hurt him. To this point, I think it has helped him, kind of round out his game. Maybe not round out, but he's definitely refinding that physical side of his game that kind of wasn't there last season, but you could tell for a bigger guy once in a while, he would throw his body around to win puck battles and set up scoring chances that way. And he's kind of doing that this season. So he's just a more well-rounded player than he was, I think, last year.
I mean, and that's what the NCAA is. I mean, there are a lot more you're playing against older players a lot of the time too. And him thriving as a freshman, that's a really good sign for the future. I probably won't be seeing him in the NHL probably for the next couple years. But I mean, he'll probably be ready to just jump right in, right off the bat and be an impact player in the NHL. At least you'd hope so. So, great start for him, in the NCAA. Like you say, for a very good team too. So, we'll see how he keeps going. All right. Well, that's another Flyers update. Thanks, Justin, for coming on as always. As we keep going through the season, make sure checking out everything at thehockeyWriters.com. We got great articles over there, plus the Substack newsletters and our other videos on the YouTube channel. But until our next video, we will see you next time.